thanks to you, bro. I appreciate you, brother Al.
No, no doubt, man. How are you doing today?
I'm feeling great. I'm a little ragged, but I'm feeling real good. Things are positive, and I'm in a vibe. We gonna chop it up, you heard?
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Conversations. I'm your boy Al Mecca, man. We with the legendary Kool Kim, NY,
Yeah.
UMCs, man.
Yes, sir.
One of Staten Island's finest, they say, huh?
Yes, yeah. I hope that's what they say.
There it is.
I can't call it, but I hope that's what they say.
Let's start here. Tell me about growing up and your musical influences, the things that just kind of caught your ear when you was growing up around the house or the neighborhood.
Well, funny enough, my influence are gonna start at like places like, what was on TV first, as a young cat, you know what I mean? Like, so we gotta think about that was in the days where I had black and white television when I was a kid, man. You know what I'm saying? So we still was catching like the Rat Pack stuff and all of the, Fred Astaire, the song and dance men, like back in them days, if you were, any kind of entertainer, you were a song and dance person. You could do a little tap dancing, you could do a little jazz, little modern dance. You could sing, you know what I'm saying? You had to hear a little singing, you had to be able to act, you had to be able to give them a little comedy, you know what I'm saying? A little slapstick, whatever. You had to be able to deliver, either be a straight man or you had to be the cat with the punchlines or whatever, to spoil, all that, so I'm growing up doing analysis of stuff like that, Paul. Like that, you know what I mean? Like that's the first real influence, is that. And then of course, I was blessed with my brother, he was a fan of articulation, right? So he would put me on, like he's 8 years older than me. So he would get these movies and stuff. This was back when Blockbuster was the, and it was Blockbuster was another one. It was before Blockbuster, in fact. J&R Music World in New York, right? Mm-hmm. Back in the day, I'm definitely dating myself with this one, but J&R Music World. My old man status is on full blast right now. The J&R Music World used to rent tapes before Blockbuster started doing it. Like that was the original, like set it off with getting like VHS tapes, right? So my brother used to work. I want to say he used to either work near there, would have it went down, but he used to get a lot of stuff from there. You know what I'm saying? And I would just see all kind of different things, man. And he would put me on a like Cyrano de Bergerac, and suddenly talking about I love thee beyond breath, beyond reason, beyond love's own power, loving. Your name is like a golden bell hung heavy in my heart, and when I think of you, I tremble, and the bell swings and rings. Roxanne, Roxanne, and through my bed, like yo, I remember this. This is from being a little guy, man. And I still, as if it was yesterday, I could hear his voice in my head saying it, and so my brother put me on all these really interesting things like that, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And, so as a result, man, my influences, where I go battle off the, song with, Slick Rick and this one and that, all of that. But I think that's, like, everybody talking about that. Like, anybody that was dope, right, I was listening to, because I was listening to everybody, right? But I don't think that's what ever made any of us that were dope. And this is an important distinction, because it's the other factor. It's how cats grew up reading comic books. And with we words like, nigh and vulnerable. Shout out to my dude, the real DJ, E3SD. He gave Cyrano de Bergerac, the original hip hop, big nose rapper. He got Cyrano got Humpty Humpty. You heard? So shout out to everybody in the room too that's popping in. That's what's up, man. You know what I mean? I'm on deck real quick. If y'all don't realize, I'm in. What's the joint called? Conversations.
Conversations with Al Mecca.
Conversations with brother Al Mecca right now, man. If y'all cats don't know, please do follow this great brother, man. He a real good dude, man. Yo, let me tell you something. I slept through my whole interview last night we supposed to do. It was last night, right, bro?
Yeah.
Man. Sidebar, all right? So just a quick bill, how important it is to have a team. You see what I'm saying? And how, no man is an island. You know what I'm saying? And so it really is, like in all things, incumbent upon us as we build the things, our dreams, and is to constantly reach out horizontally to people, not so much always trying to reach up the cast. You know what I mean? And we always try to network up because we figure like the pot of gold is up, but the pot of gold is really on your level with people that are as hungry as you are, that care the same way you care, that have the same sort of drive. But it's really important to have, teams and people around you that can help you in your endeavors, that see your vision. And even if people don't at this time, don't take it as people don't believe in you, or that, you're not supporting you. Take it as, I need to make it make sense more. Maybe I need to engage the challenge that their refusal to help me presents. You know what I mean? Right. And, in so doing, man, it makes it a lot easier, because if I had somebody to call me up and say, yo, don't forget you got to go on Confessions with Al Becker. I'd have been on the train last night, not on here copping the plea right now. And that's what the grow on, y'all.
One to grow on. Oh, man, that's a classic. One to grow on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Now, how did you get to the point that you wanted to do music seriously?
All right, so my mother enlightened me to something the other day. We was building, you understand? Yeah. And say again?
I said, God bless her.
Yeah.
I consider people so blessed to still have their mothers. That's my thing.
Have you lost your mom?
Yes.
My wife just lost her mother in November. That's B. We can get back to that in a second, but let me just take a moment to say, bro. How long has it been?
She passed away in '99.
Wow. So it's been some time, but I bet you it feel like yesterday, man. Whenever the moments come up when you want to holler at us, be like something amazing, and it's like, hey, let me ask you a question, Al. Was your mother your primary parent, or were you raised with your mom and your dad?
My mother and my father.
Yeah. Is your dad still with you?
He passed about 12 years ago.
Okay. So my question is, I always had this concept that when a man loses his parents is when he actually becomes an adult, because he's alone. Did you have that feeling? Like, was there ever a point like where it was like this sense of like, oh, I'm alone, man. Like, I'm here.
Honestly, it's like this for me. When I lost my mother in '99, I spazzed out. Like I was in a dark place. It was bad. Like it affected the relationship I was in. I was just so emotionally unattached, and I could just feel depression. But I really didn't even know who about being in these feelings. At the time, it was hard for me to even talk to my father, because I'm going to hold him up, because they was married for 50 years.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling more bad for him and trying to be there for him than myself. You see where I'm going? So it was like the grieving process, and watching him. Like, I can't imagine a person that you choose to be with for over 50 years gone.
Damn, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I'm been married. Well, I've been with my wife now for 30 some odd years, right? 31 years, and we've been married for 25. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that there isn't a day that goes by. Like, if she meant to go to the store and she take a little longer than I would, I'd be fussing. Yo, what you doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I immediately go to the worst case scenario. And then I immediately had these scenarios of having to do the rest of life by myself without that person that, like, you know, your wife becomes your security blanket, fam. Like the person that you snuggle up. Like, yo, there's a point where what, you know, you be with somebody long enough, right, bro? the all the BS strips away, right?
Right.
She's sexy and ooh, fat ass, you know, all that type of carrying on. Long falls to the wayside, and that this person is your companion in life. Like this, we gonna just do this, man. Like me and you, just over the shit. Like you know, I don't even want other people to physically touch me other than my wife.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's how. You see what I'm saying? Oh man, like, you know, and the thing is that I have to outlive her because I just don't want her to have to grieve me being gone.
Yeah, just the thing you would be going through.
Yeah, man. So, you know, damn, brother, that's, you know, not even damn, because life is lived and it ends, you know, but, you know, wow is what I want to say, to have that much journey, man.
And it was I was able to put a spin on it because that's when I had came up with an idea. I had back then I came up with public access television, right?
Right.
That was my driving force to come up with this local show called Illmatic TV, and it was popping here in Northeast Ohio. You know what I'm saying? So it gave me an outlet because that was my thing. I got to do something with this energy. I'm angry. I'm hurt.
Right.
Into a positive, and like I say, it aired here in the Canton, Akron area. You know what I'm saying? That's when I really started getting in the media.
Right.
I wouldn't have did it if that wouldn't have happened.
Now, you know that each and every lesson is a part of each and every each and every each and every question is a part of your quest. You know what I'm saying? Each and every stressing is a part of that test. You know what I'm saying? To rise like the phoenix, I mean it. There's something greater for me. I saw it, I seen it. It said if I conceive it and achieve and believe it, I'll achieve it. So I keep on pushing to the day that I can see it. You know what I mean? Like, that's it, really. Like, the vibes of it all. It's like, you know, we stay pushing forward. And even in the face of such adversity, you know, can you imagine if such a thing is possible? If your parents could see, you know, can peek in maybe one chance and say, how my baby boy doing? Like, we see if he held up, you know?
Yeah,
and,
no doubt.
You know, and they might have seen for a minute that you was upside down for a little while. And I think that's got to be a huge regret for any spirit that love us that go away, to see us struggle when they go on, because they're gone, right?
Yeah, because they can't tap in.
Nothing about it other than watch behind them. Like, remember when Superman put the Zod them in the tank?
Yeah.
The class, like,
And that's where we have to tap into them. You have to, what would Dad say? That's all the lessons that we wasn't trying to hear start coming back. Like,
I always tell a story about this cat, these two brothers I knew back in Staten Island, man. You know, I can never remember their names to call it, but the brothers was building with me one time on the boat, you know what I'm saying? And we was talking about, like, you know, this and that and the third and, you know, whatever type of thing, you know, like, you know, out there concepts and stuff, you know, a lot of revolutionary things and secret signs and sciences types of bills. And one of the brothers like, yeah, you know, my pops used to tell us about this all the time, man. He used to tell us about it all the time. He's like, yo, you know what I'm saying? So I listened to him when he was here. And these two brothers was like, they were roustabouts. Like, there's wildcats.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not the conversation you expecting from them. But that moment of candid, you know, candor. And I wouldn't even call it, you know, I would call it regret, because I think a lot of us end up living with it when we just miss that, hear that. You know, you realize how much you had in your parents,
Yeah.
you know, when you're out there in this world, you know. And you know, funny enough, bro, I had made a post on IG earlier this week, I want to say, you know, saying about show fam, you know, if we talking about, you know, 50 years of hip hop, let's begin by thanking our parents. You know, I think about my mother, and when I started to engage in music, bringing us back to your original question, you know, she enlightened me recently that, you know, even when we were young, she had me jump up and dance at the bar or something like that. Like I was so, you know, like, she, you know, roll a kid out. You know, I do my little thing. So being an entertainer has always been alluring to me. It's been in my reality. Yeah, I would say DNA, but yeah, I would maybe, but I'm not saying necessarily my DNA as much as it is that it was not as much as my nature as my nurture. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So you know, but it just turned out that it was very much my nature. But again, my nurture was first. And so she was actually the one that brought the rapper the light. Yo, it was on like a piece of paper like this. Like, you know how back in the day somebody gets something on a Xerox or something? You know what I'm saying? Like, that was before it would be called a copy machine. It was either Xerox or not, you know what I'm saying? Or you get them carbon copies that they used to roll out. Remember them joints back in the day? Teachers that them joints? Yeah. But she come home with a piece of paper like this folded up, you know what I mean? It might have been folded one more time. But you know how when stuff be folded and stuff, it just be all, it just like you could see all the little creases in it and stuff. And it was like this, and it was the words to Rapper's Delight was written on the paper. I remember opening it, bro, and it was just like, I just opened it, I was like, and a light shone from beneath it, like. And my young mind, my young mouth uttered these magical words that changed me forever, bro. I said a hip, hop, a hibit to the hibit, a hip, hip, a hop, and you don't stop rocking it. It was just a whole nother world, fam. It was just darkness came over me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I was lost in the abyss, fam. You understand what I'm saying? I was just somewhere new. My consciousness expanded. It wasn't that I was in darkness. It was just that I had reached infinity, fam. And yo, an MC was born, yo.
You discovered it.
Yo, now I would say that I discovered it. It discovered me.
Yeah.
It found its way. The sacred tomes found their way to me, bro. You understand? Like, that's what's crazy. And so that began between my brother and teaching me about eloquence and those sorts of things. And, you know, my mother presenting me with the words, the rappers, the light. My brother played in a band called Phase 2. So it was like, yo, Jesse D from the 47Ds. Okay, shut down. Mom bought me some light things. Oh, cool. Hey, is there a snack or something? Stop. Please, thanks, bro. Appreciate you. That's my wife right there. Yeah. Yeah, that's my wife right there. I had to get it. I had to get in the bed for a snack or something. I'm hungry, yo. I ain't gonna lie right now. I'm starving. You know? If we get to talking too long, I'm gonna be eating. I ain't gonna tell you no lie.
Yeah. You said, I gotta put something on the belly.
Yeah, that stomach said, hey, hold up, wait a minute. I need something going. Yeah, but it's all love. I'm feeling great though.
Oh, yeah, that's so. Well, like I say, it discovered you.
I'm sorry, say again.
So it discovered you, that piece of paper, and you just got to read, and it just took over, huh?
Yeah, man. Once you get access to something like that, it's like a drug, man. It's a drug. And then to discover you got a talent for it. Come on, man. Well, in hip hop, you don't stop. What about how can I stop? Yes, so that's why I was saying the importance of acknowledging our parents, because when I think of my mother, who's, I don't know if you can hear what my wife is saying. She's like, Mom, just got you something like that.
Mm-hmm.
My mother has been, from the door. Like, I think of how she would have to suffer through me playing the same beat over and over and over and over again, hours on end, trying to get it together.
Yeah.
How many times, she had to, she ponied up the money to help me buy. I got a sampler behind me right now that she helped purchase. You know what I mean? Like, never, like, can you imagine the crisis that my mother had to experience watching her son as articulate, intelligent, A-class student, infinite potential, you know what I'm saying? Charming, everything going for me to do this, yeah? Real tough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, like, to do whatever it was that I was going to do, you know what I'm saying? And, turning around, I'm taking up rap, like, I'm totally devoted to hip-hop. And at the time, anybody with any level of rationale or logic would have seen that as a dead end for their kid. It's just a
Yeah.
little too risky, you know what I'm saying? My mother, she believed in me, and I wouldn't even say believed in me, right? I say even better. She buy for a baby.
Yeah. She trusted you.
You know what I'm saying? And so even in this day, right? Yeah, I walk over to the shed, not to the shed, to the new studio that I'm building. Yo, my
Mm-hmm.
mother, you see on my content, you see my mother be right there trying to help me out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, get this together, let's go, let's share, do the thing, always encouraging me. Tell me keep it hip hop. So,
Yeah.
that's a good thing to do too. Like, finding a space and place to be thankful about things.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then, having the clarity of an awareness, situational awareness, to hear when a brother is saying, like, to be aware that in the space that I'm blessed to exist in right now, still having my mother.
Yes.
But to understand how many of my brothers don't have their mothers no more. And to know to cherish each day with that knowledge. Those are important things to do. And so, let me see what DJ E3 said. She supported and enforces your dreams like a great mother will indeed. And I think that it's very important that we take note of that example and we apply it to our own children.
Yes. Yes.
Because we awfully hard on our babies with this culture that we left to them or gave to them or raised them in. You understand?
Right.
And I think it's important that we remember the example that our parents set, those of us that can credit our parents. And I know many MCs that credit their parents for their success, their opportunities, just for setting the table. Like, yo, fam, listen, I mean, they wasn't into the rap thing, but I had 3 hots in the cot, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had what I needed to survive, you know what I'm saying?
When somebody believe in you, even though they don't understand, you know what I'm saying? They might not really understand, but they still believe you and trust you. That's a beautiful thing. Like, I don't know exactly what you're doing, but I trust you with what you're doing. Even though they don't understand.
I'm having an issue with the sound. Hold on a second.
Yeah, but they still believe you and trust you. That's a beautiful thing. I don't know exactly what you're doing, but I trust you with what you're doing.
Yeah, see, I'm catching what you said in delay only because somebody called me, and you know, with Instagram, somebody call you, they kick the sound funny, you know what I'm saying? So to avoid jumping off and jumping back on, I'm being resourceful. But to your question, yeah, or to your statement, yeah, you know, to have the confidence in, like, all right, so, you know, my mother say things to me over the years, like, you know, we do things by priority, we do them properly, and then we move on to the next. You know, that's something that she always put in my head. I think she get that from being military or something, you know what I mean? But that's what I grew up with. It's in my head every day. That resonates constantly with me. It's in the echo chamber in my brain constantly. I can't escape it. You know what I mean? That's the blessing, that's the gift of the whole thing. The whole thing. You know what I'm saying? That, yo, your mother and, you know, the ones that love on you and they love it on you right, man. They put in them wisdom, the jewels in your head, and you know, it'd be nice if you activate on them when you hurt them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes they only serve the function of being a life raft in our most turbulent times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so thank God for them, and thank God for our parents, and thank God for all that they put into us, because, you know, like in your case, brother, now it's time to parent yourself.
Yeah.
And all that's left is everything that was given to you, is what resonates with you. Is all, and my mother would say, everything you did good, that's on me. And all the bad stuff you do, that's on you.
Yeah.
I used to hate when she said that part.
I remember my father, he used to do the most unique thing, right? But at the time, I thought it was very annoying. And what it was...
Wait, what part did you know was annoying?
Because he used to speak to me when I would be sleeping. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I would be asleep and he would sit beside my bed and just talk and just lecture and drop jewels.
Yeah. He just was trying to feed you. Like, yo, I gotta feed you. Just eat. Even if you're not hearing it, eat. Even if you don't get it all the way, eat. You gotta eat. You know what I'm saying? Your partner, I got my whole grizzled beard, and I'm looking at the screen. I'm trying to hear. Hold on. Let's do this. Hold on. Everybody that's watching, hold tight. Let me do something. I'm gonna disengage. I'm gonna come back on so that my sound will resume, because I'm having this one-sided conversation. I can't hear my build from you out. Let me just do that. I'm gonna come out, come right back in. That should resolve the issue. Okay, so hold tight. Everybody in the new beginning, stop. I don't know what you laughing so hard for. There's absolutely no reason for you to be laughing at my troubles like this right now. All right, let me just get it together, y'all. All right, and I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Yeah. With the
Oh man, bring him back in. Yeah, we having a good time though. That definitely a beautiful conversation with a beautiful brother. You know what I'm saying? I want to thank everybody for tapping in. Can't wait for this brother to log back in, get his sound right. Hope everybody's being safe, keeping warm out there. I know over here in Northeast Ohio it's very cold. Very, very cold. Let's see here. And we are back like that. All right, where you?
We back.
There it is.
There you go. Now you sound perfect. Excellent, excellent. You know what I'm saying? Now everything is as it should be. All right, let me give a couple of shout outs, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in the building. Shout out to Chandler Comics, my bro. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to New Beginning over there. Keep laughing at me. I don't know what is going on at all. My dude DJ Just Dave in the building. You heard, you know what I mean? Everybody popping in and sliding through and strolling back and forth. It's all love. You know what I'm saying? Long as D Nice ain't on, we all right. If D Nice wants to visit for us, you might as well just shut it down.
I do have a question that I've been itching to get at you about. You had this song with a very controversial video. I read up. Well, y'all should all get lynched. Tell me about that whole saga, man.
Yeah, well, you know, after returning back from, I used to live in Maryland for a little while, and when I came back to Maryland, from Maryland back to where I used to live, you know, we had still retained the apartment, you know, just coming back to my home, I just was bad, you know what I'm saying? And you know, I've always been NY Oil, like I always been this heavy duty pro black blah 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 dude. Amongst other things, like not to say like I'm some super righteous cat, because you know I am in some spaces I'm a dirtbag. Like, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? But you know, but I think that I generally I point towards positive. You know what I'm saying? And so you know, to that ends, you know, I was frustrated with the way things was, and just at the time that was when Hurricane Katrina hit, and you know our people was floating on the streets in New Orleans for weeks, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the same time on Flavor of Love, remember that show, Flavor of Love?
Mm-hmm.
Black woman up the top of the stairs took a shit on herself, shit on the stairs on television, and they aired it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, what does one have to do with the other? You know, well, when people think about saving you or protecting you or the value of your life, but what's paraded in front of them every day is something that dehumanizes you.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. You know, we at the time, man, was just, you know, brothers be talking all this stuff about this rapper, that, you know, these mumble rapper this, and all these young heads is all behind us and all this. But the truth of the matter is, Cash was already way far gone with that long before these shorties started doing this. You know what I mean? Cash was just outright out of hand, man. And it was to the point of, you know, glorifying the very worst behavior. You know what I mean? Not even behavior is making it sound nice, because there's nothing nice about what was going on and what Cass was writing about. It's just not even, it's malfeasance, man. It was just low behavior.
Yeah.
Shit like, yo, what's wrong with you? Like, why would you even promote this? You know, would you think that you a real G or something like that because you promoting this kind of nonsense? It don't even make no sense. Right. Like, really, it's some race trader business. Like, you're a race trader. Yeah, you got songs that you're promoting killing your own people. Me and my cats like George Zimmerman still walking around scot free, but you bragging on the runs how you a murder, like, yo, I'll murder you. Murder who? You. Who's you? Everybody. Whoever's listening, I'll murder you. I'm gonna screw your girl. Whose girl? Your girl. What you mean, my girl? Your girl. Then I'm gonna come to town and sing a song, and you're gonna sing to it. You're gonna dance to it while I'm singing about how I'm a bang you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the mentality cats to get like, and it's cool, like, cause you know, I got a cat right now, like this dude named Sporty Gotti. I get a kick out of his joints, right? Mm-hmm. You know, you pimp hop, pure pimp hop. Now I find the whole pimp lifestyle to be loathsome. You know, it's not my cup of tea, but I do understand the lifestyle. I've engaged in the lifestyle enough to understand it, enough to appreciate its nuances. So when I hear MC rhyme at a top level about that particular nuance, right, I can appreciate it. Like, yo, he's going in. Like, this is hard.
Yeah,
it's hard. You know what I'm saying? It ain't sure if you want a little of that. You need some pimp shit. You need some gangster shit. You need some off the wall. Like, you know, you need those things in the vibe sometimes. And you drive and you trying to get it going. You need, because, you know, all work and no play make Jack a dull boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just keep it a deck. You know what I'm saying?
Full buffet.
You know, yeah, you need a little bit of everything. But when the balance get off, you know, somebody got to step forward. Because what happened is, you know, even if you got something that's supposed to be hard body, right? At some point, when it's just like only that, you're going to have a bunch of cornballs taking that thing to another space that make the hard body shit sound lame.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like, all right, a better way of putting it is that radicals will always ruin a solid point. So you know how, like, for example, like when you look at the LGBTQ, you know, XYZ, you know,
the alpha.
their grievances. You know what I'm saying? Like they movement and their grievance, right? Any radical say anything in person can be like, yo, there's no way I'm gonna sit up here and have no conversation where I'm not gonna be with, you know, equal rights and the right to let these people get married and do what they got to do, so that marriage don't just mean, you know, under God business. It's also a bunch of contractual rights bestowed upon both partners. That, you know, you got a gay couple together and they not legally married. Yo, you know, even if someone of them get hospitalized, they're gonna be facing a crisis that, you know, the average married couple wouldn't even have to think about because of that, right? So, you know, if you're a rational person, you're not going, you know, y'all understand that. It ain't like, you know, I ain't gonna get into nothing else. That in and of itself is enough to make me be like, these people need the right to be able to do that, right? But then you get a radical voice in there, right? And then they like, well, if men don't want to sleep with trans women, they transphobic, and they should want to sleep with us, and we shouldn't have to tell them that we was men. Nah, see, you taking it somewhere now I can't vibe with it. Now you made it. It was a good. You had something. I was ready to rock with you. You know, I'm engaging you in your humanity. But now the radical over there, he done came from out the darkness, like, yo, you know, and we got nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you know, again, not to get on those, like, I'm not trying to get into that sort of social political thing. Like, I'm not on that vibe. I don't have no feeling about those situations, but I could see it. Like, I could see how it's playing out.
Yeah, you see certain things are just moving. It's like,
yeah. And you can just see how it's gonna, like, you can see how some things like, yo, that's gonna fail in the end. You know, like right now we have a culture where we have a weak people culture. It's been going on for a while, but it's at a new level. And people, when I was young, very young person, I peeped it because it always amazed me how I could be like, I would be intelligent, right? I could lose an argument with a dummy. Easy. Like I have almost been outright humiliated arguing with dummies. I could think of 2 occasions that stand out to me where it was like, yo, the motherfucker just brought me out into the deep water, into the abyss. It was like, yo, I was saying, like, hey, you was and then sent me into the darkness. That shit was madness. You know, you got to be strong against that kind of stuff. You have to have a strong argument against those sort of things, because if you don't, you know, you'll be left looking like a real idiot. You got to be strong in your knowledge. And so I was all of these things when I donned the title NY Oil and made this song, Y'all Should All Get Lynched. People was having these conversations with me. I would do these interviews, and Cash would have swore I was going to come on there as a lunatic.
Like just a radical nut job.
Yeah, and I would bring them right at the fringe, because I would be speaking emphatically and stuff, but I had already worked out such a solid argument. Like I had already argued these points in my head. So whatever you was gonna say to me, I had already had this argument.
Yeah, like
you're not gonna blindside me. You know, you're not gonna try to be a jerk. I'm gonna out jerk you. Whatever it was you was gonna do, I was gonna counter it, because I'm also a battle rapper, so I know how to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I know how to engage from that space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, gotta stay ahead of the curve. Gotta stay ahead of the curve.
You know, you know, we all are the sum of our experiences, and so, you know, I'm very blessed. Not only our experiences with the people we know, so I'm very blessed to have a childhood around people that, you know, we argued and we debated, we snapped all day and night. Like it was, so, I had been through the gauntlet, even in our play, freeze tag, roof tag, wall tag, round up, kick the can, manhunt, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Jacks off the wall, 7 minutes of heaven, dodgeball, you know what I'm saying? Like on and on and on, right?
Right.
Even in those things, it was still teaching us. There's all our games, all the things we did were things that toughened us up for the world,
Yeah.
And like, so when you think about like how we used to snap and argue and make fun of each other, thicken your skin, made you ready. I've been on the BBC network in debates with college professors, political debates, yeah. And I'm running circles around these people because I grew up arguing with my friends.
You ready for it?
I'm born for it. You know what I'm saying? I got a mother that, my mother was, sergeant in the military, kid.
Yeah.
Staff sergeant. She'd come on, you know what I'm saying? She barking on you for hours. Blah, 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 blah. You getting the earful. Like, you think anybody can say anything to me? Anybody yelling at me. I met my brother, my brother was in the military, right? He was like, he said, I almost got in big trouble. I was like, what happened? He was like, he said, I get off the bus. The drill sergeant going at him, like, going at everybody. And he said, he's just sitting there like this. He's trying not to laugh. He's like, there's nothing these people can do that's going to top mine.
Right.
They're not chopping mine, they're not chopping our mother, Gets there. So he just eating it, and then someone came up. He said he was trying to hold it. He's trying to keep from laughing, right? He said, smirk on his face. He said the drill sergeant eased up from behind him, like, just eased up for him, like, motherfucker, you stop laughing right now. We're gonna stick this shoe up your ass. But it's fun. I tell a story to say like how the environment prepares you for this life.
It does.
I think that if you got into these sorts of discussions, with enough people, right?
Right.
You will really be able to see what maketh a man. As they tell the stories of the people around them, you will see how it's them because they're the catalyst for this information, but it's just as much this amalgamation of all these amazing people and experiences around them. And moments, you know what I'm saying, that make it that man. Like it's just an ill thing, to bear witness to when you really like allow yourself to engage the grandeur of something like that, and not be facetious where you in some like like I'm not there with it. I'm just sometimes just to appreciate the magnitude of the way the universe is working it out.
Right. Now, speaking of, in your world travels, what's the biggest thing you took away from, just going, first, you're a kid from the East Coast and now you're just traveling everywhere. What was your biggest take from that?
Bro, let me tell you something. I think that one of the, one thing that, to my brothers and sisters that are parents, grandparents, family, whatever you do, encourage your babies to travel. Just on the strength of being able to travel to different places, it expanded my worldview infinitely. Because once you break out of the lie that the 10-block radius that you live in is the reality, and you realize that you're a frog in a well. Have you ever heard that phrase, a frog in a well?
No.
Yeah, it's a statement saying, they say like either in Korea or in Japan. I get it from reading manga and manhwa and comic books. And A frog in a well is basically to describe a frog that would live in a well. If it look up, right, it just see, light from that little hole at the top.
Right.
So it don't think much of what's out there in the world. It don't even think what is out there in the world. It's a frog in the well. It just see that. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so can you imagine the hubris in which it speaks if you were to come down in the well and just like, yeah, well, this is the world. I'm the king of the world. Like, bro, you're in a well. Like, you don't know nothing. You have no idea how vast the world is. So just being removed from the well for a minute
Mm-hmm.
would be is huge for our babies. I mean, maybe not for all of them, because it takes all kinds of things to reach people. But I would say for the ones like me,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? I'd be one group of them. It'd be like, yo, that travel, it opened your eyes, man. That's why I live in the South now, because of the opportunity I've traveled.
Mm-hmm. So you just like be on the move.
Well, when you do it at first, hey, man, the real DJ E3 SD, I'm not sure how to say that last part, right? Oh, no, it's the real D, no. I can't really figure out how to say it as a word, but that's a learned man right there. I'm looking at you on the phone. I'm looking at the computer, like, so I can see all the comments and stuff.
I'm trying to look at his name, like, okay.
Yeah, no, this brother's tight. Yeah, he's sharp, man, right here, because he, to even play those allegory of the cave, like, that's, like, and, that level of discourse about, the culture that we exist in, the times we exist in, and who we are, is important, and it's great that I'm on Al Mecca's conversations with Al, because this is discourse, this is a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I never really get on these things and do too much, and then we met on the Staten Island ferry boat, and then then me and him started making songs in the UMCs, and then, like, that everybody can find that out.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm more into just catching a bill and talking about whatever's in the spirit of the moment, because really where I'm from or what my influences are rarely going to inspire someone to check out my music. But if we have a conversation like we're having now, and the person say, man, that brother's build is engaged and I enjoy that person. He's interesting to me.
Yeah.
I'd like to know more about him. I think people are more interested, they're more inclined to connect with people that they find interesting and engaging.
Right.
Than they do, my bio. So I think he's a great
to really get to know you. And I think that's we always look at the downside of technology and everything, but the upside is so beautiful because now we get to interact and you can follow people and be like, you're not just taking somebody's word of what they said. You're getting it straight from the horse's mouth.
There's that. There's the opportunity, like, there's a space. Let me just say, I imagine sidebar real quick. I'm doing a lot of this right now in my interview, and I need to clarify this because I'm watching myself and I'm like, yo, it's a little bit coke fiendish right here. So what's going on is I am currently in the middle of doing the renovation. Right, I'm transforming a shed, a common shed, into a studio, and I'll take you guys there to visit in a second. And when I do heavy duty work like this, I generally let my beard grow out, my mustache grow out. You know what I'm saying? So right now, I'm woolly mammoth faces right now. This is the most my joint ever grew out. So it feels like it's just constantly tickling my nose. Like, I'm very uncomfortable with this. That's why you see me doing a lot of this. Because I'm not, this is not a normal beat, you know. You got my baby face on. Right now I got my old man in the mountain face on. So just don't be like, yo, Kool Kim, calm down over there. No, I'm good. I'm good.
No.
Yo, this shit is very uncomfortable. I gotta get this off, yo. Yo, I gotta get my thing tight. Like you said, you got your night, you got the night tight, you know, right there. You got the night.
Yeah, keep it tight.
You got the pencil, man. I got the joint in the night. I got the joint like.
Oh man. Oh wow. Let me ask you this though. How important is legacy to you?
Very important. Very important. Because, you know, fame, I wanna live forever. Light up the sky like a flame. I wanna I wanna live forever, whatever. People remember my name. I wanna live forever, bro. I wanna light up the sky like a flame. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make it to heaven. People remember my name. And you know, she said, remember my name, fame. I'm not bugging. Like, I know people out here, what's more bugging? Think of, yo, that song.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm with you.
That song, even as a kid, haunted me with its accuracy of what I felt as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to ever, I want to live until I choose it. Like, I want to live forever. Until I've seen enough. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I've seen enough. I'm ready. I clock out now. That's good.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I don't want to just like, yo, I got a set time. I got to be out when something else say I got to be out. But if I got to be out, I want my spirit on this earth to be so powerful or have had such an impact that my kids are comforted when I'm gone.
Yes.
You feel me? Like, not that they erecting statues and that my kids are comforted when I'm gone, because that work that I've done, the impact that I've had on people, the inspiration that I've tried to convey, the realness, even in my low times, to be able to say, yo, I'm in a low time, but I'm trying to struggle to pull it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to make it. I'm not giving up, and try to be a testament to that, to people that's watching and be like, yo, brother, ain't give up, man. Keep pushing forward. I'm not gonna give up, man. I know a couple of people felt that way that I met. Like, those things are infinitely important, and I want people to have those stories to say to my children. You know what I mean? When I'm going and be like, yo, your pops, man, he had this impact on the world and on me, and I did this better thing because the shit used to be online. And he was doing it. Yo, I remember when he used to do this, and I used to watch with my wife, and then me and her went and did this, and it did this, you know. Now, knowing my daughters should probably get at, like, yo, why you ain't tell him that when he was alive? You know what I'm saying? But be that as it may, you know, still, I want them to know that their father's legacy, transcendent of what I've done and given to them and my family privately, but the man that I am publicly, is worthy of being remembered and of some level of respect. And yeah, you know, whatever that means. Like, if you do a good job on the planet while you're here, how people be like, yo, our brother did a good job, man, good dude, you're all right, cat. He was trying. If I get just that, I'd be good. If I just get that, if in the end people say, yo, that brother was trying, man, he's trying real hard, man. He ain't always getting it right, but he was legitimately trying. I'd be good.
He stayed in the hunt. That's what I like to say. He stayed in the hunt.
Right.
You know, I think that's the thing for when your children and your children's children can pull up some of your art, some of your interviews when you're gone, and just kind of still have that connection.
That's why I do a lot of stuff on live. You know, so that my progeny and, you know, all of that, will be able to say, yo, this is who my ancestor was. This is who grandpa was. This is who great grandpa was. You know, this is who our ancestor Kool Kim was that established this train of thought for us. So maybe I don't get that done. You know what I mean? But at least they could say, well, this is who this person was. So at this point in our family's legacy, we was sharp. We need to figure that out. Where was he at with it? It's in our blood. You know, it's in our blood to not give up. It's in our blood to persevere. It's in our blood. Yo, this record of this dude. There's a record of this dude striving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a record of him trying and failing forward. So it wasn't a failure. It was a lesson. And, you know, and applying a lesson and becoming better. And the lesson isn't a lesson. It was just a test towards my blessing. Like, come on, man. Like, the lyrics just is natural because what's real is real and what's true is true. And that's what it is, fam. Like, and I think that all of us feel like that, man. I don't think that I feel nothing so special. A legacy is not about that people all over the world was vibing with what I was vibing with or I was demanding demands.
Yeah.
You know, a legacy is, hey, you know, these are the things that I established for my family. You know, my mother started off, we was raised, hey, listen, she said, I'll get you out of 18. You know, if I get you to 18, that's more than my mother did for me. My mother was raised in the home and, you know, in a group home. So if I get you out of 18, I did more than my mama did for me. Y'all do more than I do for you. So I see that and I'm going to raise you. Not only am I going to do more than you, I'm going to do way more than you because that's the quality of man that you raised.
Yeah.
So here, not only am I going to get my kids to 18, I'm going to get them a mother and a father in the form of a husband and wife. Like, they're not going to never know no broke up family.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to get them a house. I'm going to get them, we're going to have multiple properties, and not because I'm rich from rapping, because rapping ain't never paid me a dime. I'm going to have that for them from just hard work and determination.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change the tide. I'm gonna do what wasn't done for me. Now, if my kids can't appreciate it, they can't vibe with it, they don't see it, it's not my problem. I gotta do what I'm supposed to do though. Yeah, because I know it was done for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Regardless, you gotta lay it out there for them.
Right. I gotta do what I'm supposed to do. Like, sometimes we lose sight of that because we're looking for the result of the efforts and sacrifices we make, as we should sometimes, because you want to know that you ain't waste your efforts on somebody unworthy of that effort. You know what I mean? But sometimes, man, it's like it ain't even about that. You know what I'm saying? I went on the Huxtables. It was on the pardon, somebody's thing. It was on Martin's wall. It's in the wall of Martin's show. I'll post it. What I was saying is that I lost what I was saying. I forget what I was saying. I lost it, but I guess it was.
But I think too, sometimes as parents, we also have to understand patience, because we do want our kids to get it when we give it, but sometimes they have to grow into it.
Yeah, like we were saying, like we were talking about how, you know, some of that stuff we learn, you know. You probably ain't heard some of your dad's wisdom the way you heard it when he was gone.
Right, facts.
You heard, like, all of a sudden that shit clear as day. Huh?
Yeah.
Hey, look, it don't be nagging you or nothing. That joint be mother's milk, like, yeah, like, word. Okay. Or you see somebody post something up and there's some shit that your pops and your mom used to say all the time, but they said the real version of it, you be like, they don't even know. They don't even know nothing about this.
Yeah.
So we got to put our trust in our kids like that, you know what I'm saying, to that extent. And you also got to put, you know, but also for peace of mind, you got to be able to just do your work and do your work on the strength of your own integrity. Yo, this is my part that I play in the continuum. It's transcendent in my family and all of that. It's about me in the continuum of life. Like, I don't want nobody to be saying nowhere in the continuum of life that I wasn't about it.
Yeah.
Like, yo, nah, our ancestor Kim Sharp did Kool Kim. NY Oil, he was about it. Like if they got like if it's a far from future, if they got like a resurrection machine, and they like, yo, we gotta figure out which one from y'all clan we gonna bring back to help lead y'all back to greatness. Hey, like, go get Kool Kim. We gotta get, that's the one to get. He got it. He got it. Yeah, we'll follow him. He'll bring it. He'll get us through it.
You know, and that's the thing, man. Just being accountable to take that leadership ability is huge. Because it seems like a lot of times people don't really want to be held accountable for certain things for whatever reason.
Well, you know, it's a very clear reason. It's no forever. We got, you know, when we say for whatever reason, and we lose track of what are we saying they do now? Say it again. They do what? No, say it again. What did they do?
What's that?
What you said they do what now?
Don't want to be held accountable for whatever reason.
Why wouldn't somebody want to be held accountable? You know, that's the real question to ask. Like, we got to really get to the real meat of it. Like, yo, why wouldn't you want to be held accountable? Because what does it say about you? Most things that you do, your identity is connected to.
Yeah. So
if you're being held accountable, yo, your identity is being put into question. You understand? And you have to live in the truth sometimes that generally being held accountable exposes your failure. I'm going to lose weight. I put it on Instagram. I told everybody I'm about to lose all this weight. 6 months later, we like, yo, where them after pictures at?
Yeah.
You just look at this, just as round as you did 6 months ago. Yeah. And you know, like, that's going to hurt. You know what I'm saying? That's going to hurt. And people, and so does that mean that they don't have to take accountability? Hell to the no. Does that mean that those of us seeking accountability from others, right?
Yeah.
Better leave that shit alone, because it ain't got nothing to do with us.
Yeah, the self.
Yeah. Can't, you know, people ain't gonna necessarily get it. And then now some of them ain't willing to get it. If some of them get it, can't even, it's still ain't gonna come up off it. Think about how many people can't apologize when they're wrong.
Oh, man. I don't understand why that's so
wrong. One want to be wrong and strong. And your family wrong, yo. You know, you will actually look better if you see that you're wrong and hit somebody with a, oh, yo, I'm just realizing what you're saying, my bad, son. Yo, I thought it was this, but now, yo, my bad, son, my bad. Like, yo, you know, that solidifies relationships.
It does.
Like, that makes me say, I can trust this person at a higher level for that, because they've established with me that they're willing to take ownership when they make a mistake, that they really are concerned. And my brother Brad, he said, you know what the most important things, he said, in a relationship is, he said, for me, is that I know that people cared and they tried. Wow.
Yeah.
Care and try.
And try. That's,
if you got them two, it's about everything gonna work out.
Yeah.
Or it's manageable. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might have messed it up, but did you care? Yeah, I didn't. I messed it up. I was trying. I cared and I was trying. All right, we can work through this. We can fix this. We can fix this. But if they're missing, you know, so yeah, man, those are, you know. So I think that accountability. What Big J's Beats is interject. He said no one can take responsibility for their actions, and they need a scapegoat to feel sure of themselves. Yeah, I find myself doing that. Like, I play it as a game where I blame everybody in my brain, and then I laugh at myself for blaming them, and I get to my shit. You know what I'm saying? But there was a point where I was really pointing it at everybody else's, man. Like, oh, you know, if you wasn't doing this, nah, man. You keep blaming everybody, you're losing control.
Yeah.
You're putting up your universe. You're no longer the main character. It's somebody else's fault for why you're is what it is. You're no longer the main character, bro. You're a side character.
Yeah.
Side characters have shit happen to them. The main character makes shit happen.
Yeah, make the shit happen. Everybody else
I got no character energy, man. Say again?
So everybody else just down there along for the ride.
Main character energy, fam. I'm not coming up off it. So if I gotta own a mistake, I don't, you know, especially if I intend on making it right. Like, what is it? Like, you know, I'm a human being. I'm gonna make a mistake. I'm not gonna deal with my friendships and my relationships ain't always gonna be smooth. I'm not gonna do everything right.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not. I know I'm gonna fail somebody at some point, in some level, unintentionally, and I'm gonna strive not to. But I might be somebody's villain that have no intention on being it. I mean, I might be somebody's super villain right now, and I don't even realize I am. Yeah,
and that's very easy to do.
It's very easy to wind up somebody's super villain.
And you know what? It can really be something as simple as a truth that you spoke, but they just didn't like it.
It could be a truth that you spoke. It could be a lie you're not willing to join in on. You heard?
Mm-hmm.
It could be a look. It could be the fact that you represent something that for them, and it don't feel good for them.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you doing good. It don't feel good for me that I'm seeing you do good. Why doesn't it feel good for you? It have something to do with them. It ain't got nothing to do with you. You're just a reflection that they see you. They see their failures back on themselves. Like, oh. And so, you know, you get all types of reasons. The reason is the season. Like, the reason is where the flavor come in. Like, you ain't got, all you got is an experience. But without a reason, you don't really there's nothing there. So I need to know what's up. Like, what's the real story, you know?
Yes. Yes. No doubt. No doubt. Man, it's been an honor chopping it up with you. This, I want to just have to call you just so we can talk sometime.
That's right. Bro, you know, what in this life, fam, what you know, I ain't trying to sound lofty, fam. I'm a regular cat. I'm gonna get off this joint. I'm gonna read comic books. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna go make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and then I'm gonna work on my little studio set. Yeah. But as I've grown older, I just find more depth in even the most mundane things. And you know, we're living in a world where there's a real need for these types of conversations to be had as a part of regular fare.
Yeah.
And because they are enriching, you're better for it.
You know, and I always tell people, like, I'm not really into the clickbait or viral thing. I gotta have substance. It's about substance and reality for me to live with. If nothing else, you know, if you rock with me, cool. If this ain't your cup of tea, that's cool too. But I don't care who, what, sleeping, and all that gossip and drama.
Man, it's like I'm straight on that stuff, man. I don't even need that vibes. I don't even be wanting to serve that because they be like, yo, son, I ain't trying to manifest that in my reality for real. Like, I don't even want that to be something that I don't even want to visit that on myself by talking that up. I'm saying, yeah, I'm saying, cause you know, we're here, man, shorty, and then you know, next thing you know, like you ever be watching like, you know, divorce court or paternity court or you know, dumbass court or whatever courts they be having with Rory Povich and Jerry Springer, and you know, watch these clowns and somebody on it, they do some shit so outrageous that you went I wish a nigga would mode. And now the show over, right? You ain't got no real satisfying conclusion for your pissed offness, right? Now you turn it over to your girlfriend or your wife or your friend or whoever's in the vicinity of you trying to spark up that same argument in the house. So you can finish having that argument. Like, how stupid are you? But we do that shit. Yeah. I caught myself with that years ago. Say, nah, man, ain't this the vibes I'm on. I'm not having that. That's I don't allow certain programs in the house no more. I'm like, nah. My wife was yelling at me the other day because I was binge watching Divorce Court. It just caught me. Like, it caught me on YouTube while I was binge. I want to project this shit in my home. That's why I don't make certain kind of music, really, because I don't want to project it into my life.
Yeah.
And I think that words are spelled. So words are spells. You know what I'm saying? And every spell was rhyming. You heard? And in the beginning, it was the word. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was told to recite the Quran. So with all that being said, I don't even be rhyming about certain stuff. I'm not trying to manifest certain things into my life that way. Because I've already seen me manifest things in my life with these words unintentionally and be like, wow, whoa. So I say, be very mindful. You know what I'm saying? Also, I like to say this something else, something else to everybody before we prepare to wrap it up. Everything you seldom wish for. Excuse me. I fucked that up. Try it again. It's my deep thought. Be wary of what you imagine and wish for, because the things you imagine is seldom how you imagine. You know what I'm saying? Things you imagine are seldom how you imagine. Fame is not the way that you imagine it. Being a rapper is not the way you imagine it. Being a business owner is not the way that you imagine it. Being a husband or a wife is not the way that you imagine it. So be mindful of the things that you imagine, for they are seldom the way that you imagine it. You heard?
You know what that reminds me of? Remember the TV show Fantasy Island?
Yes, sir.
They think it's anything, and it's a lesson. Like, hold up, there's more to it. Be careful.
You thought she was going to do this. That ain't it. That ain't it. That ain't it. You thought the grass was greener on the other side. You didn't realize that there are bodies under that dirt. That's why that grass so green. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what's you don't know. Or my man says, yo, it's simple, but it ain't easy.
Yeah.
Everybody look at the plan. The plan is simple. Yo, son, I can give you the plan. I can give you the. Yo, son, you ask me any question, pretty much. I'd be like AI for you. Like how you could ask me how the black man can overcome racism and then that. Yo, and it's simple. It's simple. It's simple, but it ain't easy.
Never is.
That's the thing, fam. What we all get hit with.
Yeah.
How simple it is, but it just really ain't as easy. The simplicity of some of them, and it's made simple because it's a simple mind that's speaking it. So I tell you, a complex issue, a complex problem. I got a simple something you ain't even you're not even equipped to have. It's not a simple problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me give you an example. There's a reason why I'm actually in the dark right now. Aside from the fact and just telling the story, I thought it was cool how I did it, right?
Yeah.
I got to look at this live later. Yeah, I did that. I thought that was. But anyway, I digress, right? So, but I really trying to write this down because my background is whack. You know what I mean? I'm about to do like the Wizard of Oz and like pull a curtain back because I'm gonna share a concept with y'all. You know the thing. So let me turn the light back on. Like, so I'm talking about the work and how you build it up. You know what I'm saying? And that it ain't just like it's simple, but it ain't easy. And a lot of times we look at the beginning and we see the end result, but we missing all of the stuff in between. You understand? This was just a common shed that I'm saying. Saying about 12. I've been telling the story over and over again. I'm keep telling it because I wanted to reach the person that needs to reach. It's a common shed, but I put extra electric in it and insulation, and I drywalled it, mudded, taped it, and painted it. I put shelves on the walls and all this other stuff. It's not here anymore. And then for 2 years in this space, you know, I started doing brand new content and working with artists I never thought I would work with. But if you watch my timeline, you will see I did all this work from the roof to the wood flooring before any of this other stuff was happening. Wasn't no rhymes happening. Wasn't no beats happening. Wasn't nobody really checking for me when that was happening. You understand? Other than people that were just interested in what I do, people that rock with me like that, you heard? But that's a part of the process to be able to sit down and speak with you and other people and have the opportunity to be known throughout the world. And it never stops. Having to prove your love, having to prove your value, you have to prove your commitment to your dreams and your goals and to fulfilling the destiny that you set out for yourself. So even though, I did all of this work, right, but now here it is. Look, it's just, look, it's just a shadow. It's just nothing now. It's just a mess. Ready to be, you know, decommissioned, as it were.
Yeah.
But the reason, so allow me to walk y'all over as we prepare to end this amazing conversation. Of course, showing is the state and improving makes it valid part. Yeah. And we could talk and talk and talk, but the show and prove is what's really what it is. I did that work and it got me a certain distance. I might break up for a little bit because I'm stepping out of my Wi-Fi area.
Okay.
I'll be getting a new one. But yeah, I did that work then.
Click back in.
To accommodate, to say again, am I back? You can see me? Am I here?
Yep.
You can hear me?
Yeah, you
all right,
got
cool.
for a second, but you're good now.
Yeah. I'm going through different Wi-Fi zones. But I'm saying, you know, so that was the let me see, let me try to do this smooth. Let me do this smooth. Yeah, I'm on an interview, babe. What you doing? Hold on. So this was my first space, and part of the mess, I'm doing mad renovation in my house. So that was the first studio right there, that little joint right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did y'all just see his face? He literally screamed. Like human scream.
Yeah.
And he hit him on.
Yeah, it's got a spanking, yeah. Yeah, y'all on my live when I'm doing an interview abusing the animals and stuff like that. ASPCA is on its way now. I hope they do come and get these dead mangy mutts out of here. Get on my nerves. But anyway, yo. So this is the new project. Look at this, twice the size.
Yeah.
One price. Look, see on the deck. They tore my yard up. My yard used to be pristine. Y'all used to have a freaking award-winning yard. Literally, my shit looked like the Bronx right now. No disrespect to the Bronx, but anyway. So let me show you this real quick, man. You know what I'm saying? Good girl. You got trouble? Good girl. You got trouble? You got trouble, good girl? Good for you. Look at they do digging holes and this is ruined, man. Look at hole over there. Jesus Christ. All right, so let me show you my work I'm doing now, man. Because the work got to keep getting done. Now look what I'm doing. This is the new work, man. Like for everything, and from the flooring, my daughter helped me do that. She did most of it. You know, I had the drywall, did all of this, man. All this I have to do, the loft. And look, even the bathrooms, man. Like, I had to build this in that shed that you was just looking at a second ago. This is the bathroom that I'm building, my man. Like, I got to do all of this work before I could get back into rhyming and doing all the snazzy stuff y'all know me for.
Yeah.
I got to do this work. This is the process, though. In growth, there's always going to be this moment where you start, you get some growth, but then it's like, yo, I got to expand my whole movement.
Right.
I got to, it's almost like I'm starting all over again. Here's some more growth. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So you seeing me in the moment. You seeing me in the moments Like if you could ever go inside of a butterfly, of a caterpillar's chrysalis, as it's, if you could peek inside of it as it's transforming into a butterfly, you in the moon, you seeing me like, yo, it's about a week or two before I pop out this joint and spread my wings on y'all, like, spread my wings and fly away. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to be there, bro. You understand? And so, you know, once again, I say all that to say, you know, one, show off my little space that I'm working on and get everybody hyped up because there's going to be some dope stuff coming out of here. But, you know, more importantly, fam, just to remind everybody, man, just one step at a time, B. Don't get yourself overwhelmed. Just do what you can do and what's in front of you. You know what I mean? Stay consistent, stay motivated. And, you know, you ain't got to be on top, fam. You might could just be happy, though, man. You might could be contented, man. And you might could have things that comfort you. And, you know, I may not have no G5, son, but I got a family that love me and we having a good time and we got the little creature comforts we need. And,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of it become possible when you just got that kind of peace of mind about that kind of stuff. So I pray that for all of y'all watching. I appreciate everybody taking a little bit of time to sit with us and kick it. And Al, I appreciate you most of all, brother, because of your tenacity and your understanding while I'm doing so much, and taking some time to still sit and talk with me, even though I missed our interview last night.
That's right, though. You know what? Sometimes it's just a reason, and the vibe might not have been the vibe that we got today, because today was a beautiful build, my brother.
All right, man, that's awesome, man. I'm glad that we was able to find the build that we needed to find for today and what we're doing right now. That's what's up, brother. So thanks for having me. And everybody watching, I am your friendly neighborhood fly guy, Kool Kim, a.k.a. NY Order Ideal. And yes, I approve this message, you heard? And I'm on conversations with my brother, Al Mecca. Yeah.
There it is. Thank you so much for your time, man. And you get back to work.
You got it, brother. I'm on it. Peace.
Peace.